All right, guys, welcome back to the Restart Speaker Series. We're really fortunate to have a dear friend of mine and advertising guru, Clay Cooper, with us. I'll introduce Clay in a minute. Before we do that, I'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Prescient Financial Solutions. Prescient is a boutique financial services firm that helps individuals optimize the accumulation, protection, and distribution of their wealth. They take a values-based planning approach to integrate principal goals with income for life, asset protection, and legacy planning. Prescient Financial Solutions provides personalized financial blueprints, offers direct access, personalized attention, and they're backed by the stellar reputation and extensive resources of Northwestern Mutual. So, whether you're a small business owner and you're looking to accumulate assets, or you're looking to do legacy planning, or you're in corporate and you're moving over to starting your own business and you're looking to do 401k rollovers, they can do it all for you. Again, that's Prescient Financial Solutions, and you can reach them at pfs.nm.com. All right, without further ado, Clay, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, Clay. So first of all, obviously I know you very well, but tell the viewers a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, my background is in traditional advertising agencies. I started in the early 90s at the big agencies, J. Walter Thompson, mid-sized agencies, danced around a little bit. I was in the art side, art direction, creative direction. So I've been a creative all my life. And I met my two partners at a mid-sized agency in the late 90s, and we started Plan B back in 1998. My other two partners are also creatives, so you had three creative dudes starting an agency, and we've been in business 21 years so far.
So tell us, in interest of full disclosure, guys, Plan B, I shouldn't say full disclosure, just to kind of give you an idea of how Clay and I are connected. So when I worked at an insurance company, Clay's firm Plan B handled all of our advertising. So talk a little bit about your agency model, because we actually have a couple of people that, there's some copywriters, graphic designers, a software company. Tell us a little bit about how your model is different from a traditional ad agency.
Yeah, especially if I'm going to speak to some writers and creatives, as being one myself and my other two partners, growing up in the 90s and seeing and being part of and seeing how ad agencies worked, we got frustrated with their business model, which was basically retainer based.
Right.
And we started Plan B as a anecdote to that, to allow clients to work with us on a project-based level, on an executional level, because it was just three of us basically out of the proverbial garage, right? And my other partner got his MBA in business, and we, the three of us, was successful at this model, project-based, but only works if you do great work. It's sort of like a manufacturer, right?
Right.
If you do great work, they come back. And so that was our sort of ethos, our responsibility to meet objectives or even go beyond, over deliver every time. And we decided to be the agency of choice, not the agency of record.
Right.
And be flexible in our business model. So we have evolved that into an on-demand model where some clients might want a hybrid of a retainer versus just project-based or flat fee, but then the takeaway is that we aren't asking our clients to fit in a certain model.
Right.
They get control. And so,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys aren't familiar, viewers aren't familiar with a traditional agency model, what will happen? You'll pay, you might sign a 2 or 3 year contract, you pay a monthly retainer.
Yeah.
And, frankly, a lot of the risk is actually pushed on the client because they're signing this contract. They don't know exactly what they're going to get. And Clay's model kind of turned that on its head. And Plan B takes the risk because if they're not performing, then, you're going to lose. You being Plan B is going to lose the business. So it's a great model. It's pretty revolutionary when it comes to to the agency side, right?
Yeah, they get to walk away tomorrow if they needed to.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So we grew and developed our strategic acumen. I moved away from creative and became on the account side, learning account management and strategy. So I have a little bit of a background in terms of understanding creative and production and messaging and persuasion, but also learned over the past 20 years the business side of things of our clients. So that's my background. And yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the topic at hand. Some of the viewers on the show will be outsourcing some of their social media management work. And again, guys, we're talking about social media goals. So some will be outsourcing, but many of our viewers will actually be doing the social media management themselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can be extremely time consuming.
Yeah.
Many times small business owners see it as an obligation, but they don't necessarily have goals associated with it. So why don't you talk a little bit about, for example, when you're meeting with a client initially, what sort of KPIs or goals or objectives do you set for the clients?
Well, yeah, I think I think the best start is to understand what social media is.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And part of that is obviously it's what kind of business you are, whether you're business to business, business to consumer, or you have a business to consumer sort of channel, business channel, and also you have to do, are you a high involvement purchase or low involvement purchase? That depends how you utilize social media. But social media, there's a misconception, I think, out there that, and I use this term with a lot of our clients, even the bigger clients, that you have to recognize that social media is just a platform. And the way we look at it is, it's really content marketing.
Right.
Okay. And the best way to describe that is content is the fire. Social media is just the gasoline. Okay.
Right.
And the reason why that's important in this day and age, it's funny, my partners and I 12 years ago spun off a social media sister company called Social Logic. And we were too soon. We were too early because a lot of our clients, as an ad agency, a lot of our clients didn't really recognize the value. And it was really difficult to put in their P&L a line item for social media.
Right.
So, but fast forward 10, 12 years, and I think there is out there right now research that says that human beings are getting 4,000 to 10,000 messages a day.
Wow.
It's hard to believe that, but if you really think about it, in our ADD-addled multitasking world, we're getting hit with a lot.
Right.
And, I think it was about 10 years ago, and I haven't been able to find this, but there was a lot of discussions, and Mark Zuckerberg actually described the phenomenon of content doubling every year.
Right.
Okay, so I bring all this up because it's important when you're thinking social media, because you have to start thinking about your audience and what they're dealing with, right?
Right.
So think of it as supply and demand. Okay, if there is that much content out there, right? Meaning content doubling, it's easy to get.
Right.
There's so much out there.
Right.
A human being can only take in so much.
Right.
So the supply and demand side is out of whack.
Right.
Okay. So if that's the case, if there's so much content, how do you get noticed?
Right.
And social media can be this, it's this free platform, right? Well, not really, because the content now has to be extremely niche
Right.
oriented,
Right.
very specific for anybody to really pay attention to it. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little.
Yeah, I think,
My lighting.
I think one of the important points there too is, I'll have small businesses or entrepreneurs ask me, say, which platform is the best? And I say, well, what information are your customers looking for? Where are they going to be entertained?
Yeah.
And, what platforms are they using? Obviously, we only have a finite amount of time to manage this stuff. And, we need to think about that, ROT, that ROT, return on time, not just the ROI, right? The return on investment. And I don't think people, especially if you're a small business, I don't think they attach a value, or at least a numerical value, to their time.
Yeah, I think again, it's going back to your audience and how they integrate. How are they making business decisions or purchasing decisions, and where are they? That kind of dictates where you want to be.
Right.
There's a study that went out by I can't remember the study off the top of my hand, but on a B2B level, business to business level, they know that a prospect spends 67% of their time researching you before they contact you.
Okay.
On a, and I think that makes sense, right?
And that's on B2B, you said.
That's a B2B level study. I could send it to you.
Sure. Yep.
It's been a while since that's been done, but I would imagine it's even more that, look, they are learning about you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you make sure you're there? And social media platforms kind of allow you to do that.
Right.
Right. Not only just your website, but your social. So it's depending on your business, really. It depends on what like we work with Papermate, right? And that's a low involvement purchase. You're buying a $1.50 pen. And their social media was much more about altruism, and supporting a niche audience, which was teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And the insight there is that teachers spend a lot of their own money to children who can't afford supplies.
Right.
So we did a Facebook promotion because teachers are there.
Right.
Contest, and if you bought a Papermate pen and you nominated a school near you, that school would get a year supply of pens.
Yeah. Okay? Right.
So what I'm really getting at is, sorry, my windows are giving.
It's all right. There we go.
There we go. Good. Sorry.
No problem.
There we go. I jump around a little bit, but so if we understand content as the fire and social media is the gasoline, what kind of content is appropriate?
Right.
And what we've done is systemized in a way that helps us develop the right appropriate content.
Okay.
When people talk a lot about content, and what do you mean by content?
Mm-hmm.
And this goes to really, again, to your audience and what needs are they trying to fulfill when they interact with your brand.
Yep.
The interaction of your brand is going to be the social platforms or where you're ever at, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're there. Okay. And when you really break down social media in terms of the content, it's really 4 pillars that we look at.
Okay.
Okay. And again, it makes sense because it's the same kind of 4 pillars that you interact with a human being. Okay.
Right.
And they're emotional. So first one is utility.
Okay.
Okay. Content that's utility, that is informational content about the brand itself, your company. Just utility. They're going to go there to look for information about you.
Right.
Utility, right?
Yep.
Then there's entertainment as a pillar. They're looking for entertainment. And how does your brand fulfill that need? Maybe that's fun, visually entertaining content. Again, it goes to the kind of brand you are, but So you have utility, you have entertainment.
One quick thing I just want to point out there. I think we as humans want entertainment. So I think it's important to realize that whether you're making a B2B purchase, B2G, or B2C,
right,
we're still humans, and so we still want to be entertained, right?
Absolutely, yes. Right. And, social, depending on the platform, it's funny, my social media director did a good way of, when you're dealing with Facebook versus Instagram.
Right.
Facebook is starting to become where everybody gets angry. And Instagram is where I want to go to be happy.
Oh, that's funny.
And LinkedIn is where I want to be business oriented.
We'll have to explore that on another show. So what are the two other pillars?
Yeah, utility, entertainment. The next one is value. Okay, and think financial value. Think about it could be discounts or offers, right? That could be delivered into social platforms. I'm talking about content.
Right.
And then the next pillar is reciprocity.
Okay.
Reciprocity meaning all about giving back.
Right.
Engaging. And there's different ways of doing that. So what's interesting about these four pillars, utility, entertainment, value, and reciprocity, they start to dictate your content calendar.
Okay.
Right? And what content you should create, because that's what you're going to be able to do.
Yep.
Now, depending on your business, some businesses, when you're looking at, or some categories, are heavily driven by user-generated content.
Right. Mm-hmm. And what we mean by that, viewers, is it's not the company where you guys as business owners generating it. It's it could be clients or other people influencing and actually sharing the content.
Exactly. So, and some categories, there's more of it than others, right? A lot of consumer brands, like we have a fitness equipment company that services health clubs on a B2B level,
right?
And sports performance and all of that. And their product's so unique that people are filming themselves using it all the time. It's like social media gold, right?
So you just sit back and watch the content be created, right?
What I'm suggesting is that of those four pillars, that's really reciprocity. That's really basically you're engaged in your social media programs and you're seeing people tagging. Right. And you're utilizing their content and pushing it out and thanking them.
Yep.
Might be a higher percentage of those four pillars for you versus those brands that don't have a lot of user-generated content where you can create that. So it depends.
So,
like paper, not a lot of people are putting user-generated.
Right. Hey, watch me write on this brand new blue ballpoint.
Right.
It's so sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the goal piece. So you've got a client, or let's say you're a small business. You're like, okay, you've set up all your platforms, and let's say you've done a good job of targeting, let's say you're a professional services company, and you're selling software to attorneys. And you found that, many attorneys use LinkedIn. What sort of metrics, and I think this is agnostic platform, but what sort of metrics do you, tell your clients to look at / report to them, I'm not going to ask anymore.
You can look at views, you can look at all of that. One of the most impressive metrics is sharing that link.
Okay.
That is, to me, proof that that's free earned media.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So when you a link is meaning I see something at that law firm. I'm a lawyer that doesn't work with, or I'm a prospect. And again, the content was compelling, that you wrote a white paper, or you wrote, a case study, or something that was a value of interest of me. If that content is interesting enough, and I take the effort to share it on my platform, boy, that is you have to consider the 4,000 to 10,000 messages that are going out.
Right.
Which ones do you pay attention to?
Right.
Well, that prospect's audience, their followers, are going to probably pay attention more to that person about you than you about yourself.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah.
So a share, I shared that link out, is basically a huge awareness and a good indication that your content was good enough for someone to basically say, because you have to realize that that person has their own brand.
Right.
You think about yourself as a social media animal, your avatar. There's this construct called knowledge is vanity,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Human beings want to share things on a ego level,
Yeah.
right? What I share says something about me.
Wow. It's kind of like the people you hang out with, you are who you hang out with, right?
That's right. So that vanity is, in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, an ego and self-actualization side of things, right? I'm getting in heady stuff here, but
no, this is good.
So if you're thinking about social media, you have to cannot do it without thinking about content.
Right.
The content is what is the fire that the social media will spread like gasoline. How do you spread it? Well, it's got to be compelling enough, that means something enough. And to measure its success, yeah, you can go views or people like or click, but that when you click a like, other people are going to see that you like it.
Right.
So what you are saying as a prospect is, I want people to know this.
So how, in terms of, so we talked about likes, we talked about shares. How important are comments, or does it really depend on the brand?
Well, that's the reciprocity. That's the reciprocity side of engagement. Right. That's even better, right? That's yes. If people are engaging, or a lot of times what happens is they may want to direct message you based off of so that's a measuring point. EM. There is also what you can get in trouble with social media is thinking that it's this powerful lead gen program, and forget the fact that it's also a vehicle that allows to convey your voice, your brand, your ethos, your image, and I don't know if your audiences will appreciate or know of Simon Sinek's construct of the golden circle.
Yep. I'm sure they will.
The why, the how, and the what.
Right.
And that idea that people don't just buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Right.
And people want to attach themselves to brands that are that they believe in on an emotional level. And social media allows you to do that side of it, right?
Okay. Yep.
But it's difficult to correlate the exact that to a sale. We get that. But if advertising has figured that out, then if someone says they figured that out in terms of everything that they do, they can correlate to a sale, they're lying to you.
Well, and I think, the other important point is it's, when we're a small business, we're a startup, it's all about generating sales. But if there could be support pieces, right? Maybe you're providing client support. Maybe you're, co-branding with other events, like, one of our previous guests did with Mobcraft. So there's, it's not just about making a sale, even though, it could be. Let me go to some of our questions here. So Kristen has a question. So she works for a tech startup. And the question is, what kind of content should a startup provide that is has a high involvement sales process? So I think, the essence is here is, if you have a very complicated product, it's not a pen, quite different from that. This has to be lithium-ion batteries that are used in forklifts, right? What sort of content, we won't talk about the platforms because it depends on where people are at, right? But what sort of content could be used to, kind of share or to, I guess, shorten that sales cycle?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I think of, it was batteries.
Yep.
So lithium battery.
Yep. Lithium-ion batteries for forklifts.
My creative hat comes on, and how do I dramatize that? how to again convey what you do in a emotional way. And part of any strategy should always consider the buying, funnel.
Right.
Okay. So any piece of content has to fit in to what is its job.
Right.
Okay. So a generic sales funnel would be at the top of it, I've got to intrigue you.
Right.
So that hopefully you start to inform yourself. Right. And if I start informing myself, then I might contact you so you can close the deal.
Right. Right.
And then you deliver. So intrigue, inform, close, and deliver. And your content should be focused on how do I intrigue you.
Right.
Once I've intrigued you with a piece of content, you should not have a closed loop. Where does it take me to find out more? Because remember, this is a B2B side of things. We know that they're going to do their research on you before they contact you. So you have a robust landing page, so you have a piece of content that it dramatizes the business issue, creatively, message-wise, that be like, wow, what's this about? That's intriguing. I click and I go to some sort of digital environment to inform me about that, on what it, and it's got to be benefit-oriented. A lot of times I see features discussed, right? So to your viewer, what you kind of have to do to develop your content is understand what the feature is, but what's the benefit of that feature. And the benefit's an emotional, it's logical and emotional, but the feature of, and people sometimes conflate those two.
Right.
Versus a benefit, meaning benefit to that person who's watching that video content, and what does it mean to them?
Right.
How's it going to solve their problem?
Well, and I think, part of this speaks to not falling into the trap of saying, okay, well, feature, function, benefit is fine for a consumer product, but it's not for an industrial or a business product. And that's factually incorrect, right?
That's incorrect. That's right.
These lithium-ion batteries.
Yes.
You say, okay, well, they don't leak. Well, so what, right? One of the things I was always taught is to ask, so what? And if you keep doing that, and when you can't do it anymore, you're at the benefit, right? So you're like, hey, these lithium-ion batteries don't leak. So what? Well, the acid won't come out on the forklift. So what? Well, when Bob touches it, he won't burn his hands. And you could even go, so what? Well, then you're not going to have, injured people, insurance claims, reports to OSHA, right? I mean, and this goes way beyond the financial piece. I mean, this is a safety message, right? So, I think you're right on point with that.
Well, what's the famous saying? No one ever got fired for hiring IBM.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So for those audience members that's an older phrase, what that means is fear. So on a B2B level, absolutely on an emotional level, I'm making big decisions on purchasing something. It is all about status quo inertia.
Right.
Why should I change? Because if I change, it's on me. It's my ass. Where am I at in this decision-making process?
Right.
I shake things up, and if it goes wrong, I lose my job.
Right.
So you have to get down into that level of your audience and know that they're human beings that are trying to navigate their own job.
Right.
And making big decisions like on a B2B level like that is risk.
Right.
And you can dramatize that risk. Dramatize that risk can be a powerful message, right?
Yeah.
And again, the IBM, no one got fired for hiring them. So if IBM screwed it up and I chose them, you can't blame me because I just hired the best.
Right. Yeah.
But we're talking to, your lithium battery startup, who I'm sure have competitive set that already have a foothold and trust in the market. If that's the case, you're the David in the Goliath story.
Right. Yep.
Okay, you have a hurdle to beat Goliath because they are safe and they're a reliable resource. And why should I change?
Right. Okay. Let me hit one. And we've got a bunch of questions here, but
Sure.
I really want to hit this point because this transcends all industries, B2B, B2C. Well, I'm just going to make a statement and then I'm going to turn it into a question. So when I've started to, since I wrote the book, right, just to help small business owners. Then I developed a Facebook page, then a Facebook community, a group,
Yeah.
and then the YouTube channel, or actually just some videos, right? And then the channel. One of the things that I found almost perfect correlation was the level of engagement from a static post to a picture to video, right? Just one-way video to live video to get engagement. I mean, for what I'm doing with Restart Small Biz, the level of engagement increased exponentially. But is that agnostic of industry and who the company is, or do you generally find that to be true?
Well, again, I think what another layer to that is how generic is the content versus how specific.
Okay.
Specific to the audience's fears, wants, and needs and problems you're solving.
Right.
So
right.
The more niche you are, the more focused you are in your content and less broad you are, the more likely you're going to get traction when it's more niche and specific.
Okay. All right. All right.
So, and so, yes, video, people, we have attention deficit disorder. Like I said, we're getting hit thousands of messages a day. What am I going to invest my time in when my brain and human beings can only take in so much?
Right.
There's a level of, there's just a ceiling, right? You can't get any more, right?
Right.
I have to make decisions on what content I'm taking in.
Yeah, just kind of last point to wrap that up. It's interesting. We think about, video being engaging, but, we've asked viewers basically to take half an hour of their life today and pay attention to this. So, yeah, it's more engaging than reading a post. But, they're engaging and watching this for half an hour is a lot more of a commitment than reading 3 sentences and looking at a cute picture of my dog, right? So
that's why I go back to intrigue, inform, close, and deliver. If you've intrigued somebody enough, long form video still works, but not as a way to grab someone. It's once you've grabbed them, which is usually quicker, more amplified, dramatized, vehicle, an ad, a meme, the subject line, those little things matter. The little, now if I click and this is a compelling topic for me, I will digest the video that's 3 minutes long or read your white paper because it's so specific to me. So again, you have to, the way I construct it is intrigue. That content has a job to do to get you to pay attention, and to maybe shift you to think I need to learn more. Then content that's to inform you is longer form. It needs the details. You need to understand the features, the benefits, the costs. Then I'm ready to contact you. Right.
Yeah, the temptation is to shoot it all out, right? And just launch a dump truck, or I'm kind of mixing my metaphors here, but emptying up a dump truck and giving it all to them, and people just don't consume like that. So you have to think about kind of where they are at in the buying process and what they're doing, and just think through that chronologically, and not just giving it to them. Not every customer is the same or doesn't consume things. So this is, you do get into funnels, right? And then provide what information they want that's relevant, and then bring them back into the sales process depending on where they're at.
Yeah. And so, we're talking about social media today. So, you're in that lens, you can't just think about prospects. You got to think about your current customers and your current followers, or the people who have decided to like you or follow you, right? Again, that's where that utility, entertainment, value, reciprocity construct helps you with that.
Right. Okay. We're going to go over, but this is a super important question. And this is really a contemporary question. How much of an impact this sounds like a rhetorical question, so forgive me. How much of an impact do you find that building an online community is? And I mean this literally, like building a Facebook group or building a group on LinkedIn. Is that, is it a fad? Is it really, do you see it not driving that much engagement? Just talk a couple minutes. Tell us about the impact of communities these days.
Well, again, you have to go back to what kind of business you are.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So if your product is high involvement, meaning exercise equipment needs programming,
right?
How to use it. We have a client that's in the hardscaping category where they're building, not wood decks, but concrete decks for their backyard patios.
Okay.
And the product is so complicated.
Right.
Their content is geared towards the contractor and the installer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And its basis is education.
Right.
On how the best way, the techniques on doing those kinds of things. Your lithium battery, I don't know, what are the techniques? So if your product or your service takes a lot of education, then that seems like a smart investment to develop that sort of base of a community.
Right. And I think, obviously if there's safety concerns, you don't want people giving each other advice. But if it's something like this, a deck installer giving advice to another deck installer, could make a lot of sense, right? Assuming they're not competitors, which I'm sure there's enough business, especially these days, where it's not an issue. So helping each other out, not just thinking of it being unidirectional. You know?
That's a great point, Dave. And I think it's surprising to me that within, especially B2B, what you would think would be competitors, like we have a client that's in the is a nonprofit organization for financial advisors who sell life insurance.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And they're an association that gets these guys and gals together to help each other out.
Right.
And it's amazing how much they want to help each other.
And you'd think it'd be brutally, well, it is a brutally competitive industry.
Well, absolutely. But you can't discount people's egos. And we're doing it right now. It's compelling to be an educator, and to show off that I know something you don't. We can't help ourselves.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know what a better note to end on is that. We're definitely having you back. We've got a slew of questions. We didn't get to all of them. But this was really cerebral. I mean, it's fascinating just from a strategic standpoint, let alone the tactical. So thanks a lot for coming today. I really appreciate the insights. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Prescient Financial. If you are looking for financial guidance, regardless of where you're at in your career, whether you have your own business or not, you can reach Prescient Financial at pfs.nm.com, or you can reach them at area code 414-203-6016. Again, that's 414-203-6016. That's Prescient Financial. Again, thanks to Clay in Plan B. And your website address is, Clay?
This is planb.com.
Okay, so this is planb.com, and you can learn all about their services. And they have some very interesting clients with some great work, so highly recommend you guys reach out. So thanks again, Clay. Have an awesome day. Thanks, viewers.
Thank you.